time to connect. And this week we're actually doing a deeper dive into productivity through presence, looking at relationships. And there's actually a lot of benefit that's been shown in research, particularly if you have a mindfulness practice and you're practicing regularly. It has an amazing impact, not just on our mental health, but also on our interactions with others. So I was looking at some research related to how mindfulness helps us in our relationships. And number one, mindfulness helps us to be more present and attentive. So I think that alone is a good way to better connect with our loved ones, especially our partners. Mindfulness also helps to lower our emotional reactivity. And I think especially in these times during COVID, like we're spending so much time in the house together, any little thing could potentially have us fly off the handle. And so mindfulness helps to shrink an area in the brain called the amygdala, which is the area that kind of triggers our fight or flight response. So just by literally shrinking that area through several weeks of meditation, we're able to be less emotionally reactive, so that we could, like, something can happen and we can have an interaction with our partner, and then we can kind of take a deep breath and maybe like chill for a minute before like going crazy like we're being chased by a tiger or something like that. So when the amygdala is a little bit smaller, we don't see our partners as threats the way we might have before, and then that allows us to step away from that emotional reactivity where we might get angry or escalate a fight. And then mindfulness also enhances our self-awareness, which this is actually another area of the brain that is impacted by this as well. Yes, it is interesting. So looking at mindfulness helps us to observe when we're acting out in unhealthy ways. And part of a mindfulness practice might be when you're just doing a sitting meditation and just trying to anchor yourself in the breath and trying not to get lost in our thoughts. And some thoughts or emotions will come up, and just like labeling that thought, like, or that feeling, like, oh, okay, I'm experiencing sadness. Like, what's that all about? But let's not get too into it, but let's just be aware of what our emotions are, and then being able to carry that into our days. Because I think a lot of us will do mindless behaviors because we're not in touch really with how we're feeling. I've definitely been guilty of that, and my partner, who's an empath, he'll be like, you're really angry about something, and oh, yes, you're right. I wasn't 100% aware of that. So it's great to be able to find ways to improve our awareness. Mindfulness also helps us to be more empathetic. And so there's an area of the brain that's associated with empathy and compassion, and this can help us to be more understanding of our partner's perspective and emotions and feel more compassion for them. And then number 5, mindfulness practice can increase your sense of appreciation and gratitude for your partner. So research shows that a gratitude practice in an intimate relationship increases relationship connection and satisfaction, and for both the giver and the receiver. And that's probably not too surprising, because if you think about it, it feels good to be appreciated. And when people are paying attention to who we are and the things that we do every day, and I think I'm going to say in particular as women, I think we do a lot of things that maybe get glossed over, or people don't recognize the contributions that we're making. Men make lots of different contributions too, and like my partner's great with the handy stuff, and I'm more great with the day-to-day cleaning stuff. But when we can show that appreciation, I think both of us feel more inclined to continue to make an effort and contribute to the household. The other thing about a gratitude practice in general is that when we're looking out for things that are positive or things to be grateful for, then we naturally start to notice these things more and more throughout the day. Like if you were to create a end-of-day bullet journal where you just think of, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for today? Like, okay, it's snowing 5 inches outside, but I have a warm home, and I get to work from home, so I don't have to commute. I don't have to worry about getting stuck in traffic, and we didn't have any plans out today. So I can be grateful for all these things, and then also that I have a family here that I can be in quarantine with, and I'm appreciative for all those things. But the more we practice that gratitude and recognize what we have to be grateful for, the more we notice these things throughout our days, and we could see how that could apply to our romantic relationships or other relationships with